This is Carrie, certified Christ-centered counselor and life coach with Promised Coaching. And today I want to talk to you guys about devaluation by the narcissist. So when we first meet a narcissist, especially in an intimate relationship, they're usually very flattering. They give lots of compliments, they lift you up, they do a lot of praising, and pick things out about you to point out, to show you that they admire. In fact, some of the excessive praising actually makes you feel a little bit pressured as to have to live up to this high standard that they're painting you in because of how much they're complimenting you and excessively praising you for your virtues, your strengths, things that you are interested in. They'll give you a lot of compliments on the way you look, the way you make them feel, and they will just be putting you up on a pedestal, making you feel like you are completely adored and valued by this person. They'll say things to you like you're the most beautiful woman that they've ever seen, the most beautiful woman they've ever known inside and out. In a healthy relationship, this can be a good thing and a flattering thing to receive from someone that is emotionally healthy. But they kind of go above and beyond with their compliments. So they'll tell you things like, you win, like you take the cake. You win them all. They'll actually make statements like this as if it's some sort of competition to them, that you've exceeded their expectations above all other women to capture their attention. And every little thing that you do, they'll act like they adore. Your laugh, your smile, the way that you talk. They'll say everything that comes out of your mouth hits them in a really deep way. And then the devaluation process begins. Once they've won your heart, once they've won you over by this extreme adoration and complimentive behavior and putting you up on this pedestal like you are everything they've ever wanted, they start to slowly devalue you, to start putting you in that place to question everything about yourself, to question your reality, to question your identity, and this begins. So all of those things that they were complimenting you on, and we'll just take one little thing at a time here. So suddenly the way that you laugh starts to irritate them. And they may give off a vibe or some sort of suggestion towards you that they don't want you laughing like that, or they just want you to kind of tone it down a little bit. And another example could be the way that you dress. Maybe they complimented you on the way you dressed when you first met them, and they said they love your style, they love your class, but then all of a sudden, they don't like it so much, and they think that you need to start covering up a little bit more here, or that some of the clothes you wear really aren't that tasteful, and you should dress a little bit more professional or a little bit more in a way that they perceive as what is appropriate for you and what they think is acceptable in their mind. So he may tell you that he wants you to dress a little bit more professional at work, but then you come home from work and he says, you're way overdressed. What are you thinking dressing like that going to work? Or he may tell you that you should be more casual at home. So you start dressing a little bit more casual, and then he says, how come every time I come home you're not dressed? This isn't what I want to come home to. So you can't win if you dress down, and you can't win if you dress up. So the complaints go on. And then all of a sudden, all of the things that he thought were so amazing about you, what you love to do, what you're passionate about, he starts making you question why you're passionate about those things and why you're wasting your time, because there's something wrong with it all of a sudden. And he wants you to question and second guess yourself now on everything that he thought was so amazing and virtuous about you. And all of your strengths that he praised you for, that's all going to go out the window. He's going to start calling you insecure. He's going to start telling you that you're crazy, that you don't know what you're talking about, that he knows so much more than you. My ex actually said to me, Carrie, I am so much smarter than you. You're over here and I'm way over here. You're here and I'm way up here. And I actually started thinking, is he? Is he smarter than me? Am I missing something? Am I lacking that much intellect that I don't understand what he's trying to convey to me? And that is where they want you to be, constantly questioning yourself, your reality, the truth, what you know to be true of yourself, what you've acquired over the years. All of that is going to continuously be torn down by the narcissist. So I want you to understand the narcissist is taking a very detailed inventory of all of your strengths, all of your virtues, and every wonderful thing about you so that they can keep that in their library and slowly take one thing out at a time to devalue you with. So that way they can keep you wrapped up in this constant state of confusion, manipulation, and control, because that is their number one goal, is to have power and control over your mind. And part of the way that this deception works is when they're love bombing you in this cycle of abuse and they're telling you all these wonderful things after they've ripped you to shreds verbally, and you say, why would you say that? I thought I was an amazing mother, or I thought that I was a good wife to you, and you told me all of these amazing things just last week. And he's going to say, well, yeah, I do feel that way sometimes. And he might say, I was just telling you that so you would shut up. Or I was just telling you that so things could be good again. I didn't really mean what I said. So now he's telling you when he's apologizing, he didn't mean all the horrible things he said. But then when he's bullying you and devaluing you, he didn't mean all of the good things that he said. So you see how this warped deception is so powerful. And if they weren't constantly giving you these backhanded compliments, giving them to you, taking them away by devaluing you, you wouldn't be in this cycle wondering how you've become so confused, for one. But you're now also in this cycle where you're hoping that you can gain those wonderful, amazing compliments and loving behavior towards you back from this person. You don't want the person that you love to see you in these ways. You want them to see you as being proud to have you in their life, to view you as a gift, to view you with value and respect and admiration. And in a healthy relationship, that's the way that it should be. And you've done nothing to deserve this type of behavior and the way that they're tearing you down, but they're going to convince you that you do in some way, or that the reason that you're taking things the way that you are is because of your dysfunctional background and upbringing. And they're going to blame you and everyone else for the way that you see things, even though you're not seeing anything out of line with reality. You're actually seeing what's going on, and this person is causing nothing but confusion and chaos in your mind to keep you manipulated and controlled in their world. So, what does a relationship look like where a man values you? Let's look at this from a biblical perspective, because I think this is crucial to re-establishing and gaining control over our reality and identity back. An emotionally healthy man that's not a narcissist is going to treat you with respect continuously. He may have moments where he doesn't, where something goes off, but the difference between someone that's healthy and someone who is abusive is that someone who is abusive is chronically abusive. There is a pattern, there is a cycle that's continuing to perpetuate. With a healthy individual, there is not that. There may be unhealthy patterns in the relationship, but there's no abuse going on. There's no constant devaluation, degrading, belittling, berating, controlling behavior happening in the relationship. They value your thoughts. They value your opinions. They value your values, your morals, and your boundaries. They respect all of it. They understand you and your limitations. They aren't judging you. They're not constantly raising the bar on you, having you have to reach these unrealistic expectations all the time. They're not loving you conditionally. They are loving you unconditionally. They are setting you up for success. They are encouragers. They encourage you. In Ephesians 5:22 through 29, wives, submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Let me read this again. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. As Christ is the head of the church. How is Christ as the head of the church? Well, he loved, cared for, protected the church. He did not abuse the church. Okay? So the husband is the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church. If he's not acting as Christ, in Christ-like form, in Christ-like behavior, then you cannot submit to sin. It says, submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. So the Lord, he's not wanting us to submit to sin. He wants us to submit to him with our sin. He wants us to come to him with our transgressions. He's not a punishing God that's punishing, lording over us, telling us that we're nothing, putting us down, devaluing us, no, shaming us. No, he's not doing any of that, okay? So submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. How is Christ as the head of the church? His body, of which he is the Savior, okay? If he is the Savior, your husband is supposed to be living as your Savior. That's his responsibility. That's what the word is saying here in its true context. The husband, his body, head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the Savior. If he's not living under those guidelines of what the word is saying, then you cannot submit to that. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. This is a direct command. Love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. This is a sacrificial love. He who loves his wife loves himself. God is saying it's your responsibility to care for her, to put her needs and everything about her first, because that is loving yourself. Colossians 3:18 through 19, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Submit yourselves to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Does God want you submitting to your husband in sin and evil and participating in that? No, he does not. That is not the command. Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord, in the truth, in the light, in love, because he is love. As is fitting in the Lord. That does not mean that you are to submit yourselves in a sinful manner because your husband wants you to participate in pornography or an affair or anything else that's not fitting to the Lord. If he wants to tear you down verbally, physically, emotionally, you do not need to submit to that. That is not fitting in the Lord. The Lord would never condone that. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you in the grace of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered. God is saying, I don't even want to hear from this man if he is mistreating his wife. It is a command for him to love her sacrificially, gently, and in an understanding way. And if he's not doing that, God is closing the door on him. So that's how important this is. Because in a marriage or in a relationship that's leading to marriage, a husband is commanded to love his wife and to embody the bride-Christ relationship that we have with Christ. And what did that look like? That looked like Christ coming down, freeing us from captivity, giving us a voice, lifting us up with encouragement, and taking himself to the cross for our salvation. He gave himself up. As it says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. He did this while they were stoning him, while they were hitting him. It doesn't matter what you do to him. He's supposed to love you in that manner, no matter what. That is a tall order. Am I saying that that excuses your sin? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is the command of a man from God as a husband in your life. So does any of that encompass devaluing a woman that a man has committed his life to, or that a man has committed a relationship to? No. It doesn't entail devaluing, disregarding, dismissing the woman he claims to love. And we've been taught poor lessons as victims of narcissistic abuse on what love looks like. And most of us from a very young age. And so as adults, especially as believers, we need to re-educate ourselves on what healthy and real love is. And this is it. Exactly what the word tells us. And why is this being taken out of context and misused and thrown around like it's meaningless? Because one, the times that we're living in, but also because we are living in a world filled with narcissists who have a responsibility issue. And it's not getting better. So my goal is to bring more awareness to this issue, to bring more education on this in its true context, especially in the truth, in the true context of biblical teaching and to help you overcome narcissistic abuse and to heal and recover from it. If you like my videos, please hit like and subscribe and you'll get notified on future videos. And please feel free to comment or ask any questions. I'd be happy to hear from you. God bless.